This video could have been a TikTok, but I didn't think about that until I was done. So here we are.
Meow, meow.
Making fun.
Today I am making a moon wreath fairy portal mirror. A witchy moon wreath fairy portal mirror thing. This is essentially my first Halloween video of the season. I know this isn't the most Halloween-y project I could have started us out with, but it's got great witch vibes, so I'm going with it. I am starting off by cutting my Dollar Tree wreath form in order to make a crescent moon shape. Side note, I know this cutting mat is disgusting. I don't use it for fabric anymore, I promise. To make the points of my crescent moon, I duct taped them shut. I now know to use floral wire, but at the time, duct tape. I used 5-minute epoxy to stick the wreath form down to the mirror. This was my first time using 5-minute epoxy, so I was very careful with it, but at the same time, it ended up being a huge mess. Luckily, acetone removes it pretty quickly. Once I had the epoxy in all the places I wanted, I held it down until it dried. Then I used Model Magic to make a bunch of teeny tiny mushrooms. From here, this project is pretty self-explanatory. I took my flowers from the Dollar Tree and just started hot gluing them on. I started with the center because I knew I wanted a big bunch there in different colors, and then I got out my moss. Look at these colors. And I started gluing moss down as well. Since filming this, I have seen people wrap their wreath frames in twine to make the process of gluing moss down a lot simpler, and I wish I had known that beforehand, but I'm telling you now. So if you're going to use moss, wrap your wreath frame in something so that it has more of a cross-section to glue to than these wires here. Once I was fairly happy with my moss dispersal, I started adding more roses back in. I wanted to try to make this look as natural as possible, which means it came out pretty symmetrical, but I did my best. One of my favorite parts of this project were these little pieces of sticks that were attached to these purple roses that I got from the Dollar Tree. They had a weird jaggy edge and they're just a little bit sparkly, so glitter didn't get everywhere, but I feel like they added the most texture to this when I started gluing them down underneath the roses so that they just kind of peeked out like thorns. I also used clumps of these at the top and bottom to elongate the shape of the crescent and make it more pointed. Once my mushrooms had hardened all the way, I painted them up. I kind of just mixed colors randomly using the base colors I had so that they stood out from the flowers but also matched nicely. I glued all of the flat ones together to make shelf mushrooms, and then I added scales to the top of my tiny purple toadstools. After that, all I had to do was glue down my mushrooms and hang it on my wall. The most Halloween-y, but sorry, I just pictured a wiener dog dressed as a jack-o'-lantern there. I hope this shot looks good because I can't actually see myself in this mirror. And you are going to see this multicolored moss again in the future because it is so pretty. I just want to glue it to my face. I have no idea if any of that came in contact with my face. Witchy moon wreath fairy portal mirror.